welcome to BGI 2025 Virtual Unconference, hosted by the SingularityNET Ambassador Program. So this breakout room is for the AI ethics work group members and any other person that would like to join. And today I have with me Vani, Mary, Sukrin and Spice, Ashley, Lola, Yunuzog, Zainab, Esther, and Peter. So we'll be discussing a lot more on the work that AI Ethics Work Group has been doing in partnership with BGI on AI ethics and safety, our research methods, the insights we've gathered, the learnings, our practices, and so much more. And so, yeah, get ready to hear a lot, learn a lot, speak a lot. And thank you for being here. So, just to get cracking on, I think the first person I would like to invite to stage to get this moving is Sugar and Spice. Sugar and Spice, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. This first session is on researching the public's thoughts on AI ethics and, of course, understanding how AI ethics and safety through the user's perspective. So I'm just going to share my screen. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
We can see it, but it's not full screen yet.
I always forget how to do this thing.
You see in the top right where it says slideshow, if you click on that, it should.
Okay, slideshow. Presenter view. Let's see.
No, just click on the
go
main, but not on the drop down. Just in the main button.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Okay. So, as you may know, or you may not know, the AI Ethics Work Group was formed in the SingularityNET Ambassador Program in April 2024. And it was aimed to create a platform where anybody can contribute ideas, data, resources to help design a better AI future. Now, since its inception over the past 18 months, the work group has been involved in various research methods on how we could achieve this aim. And one chosen research methodology for researching the public's thoughts in AI ethics and safety is conducting interviews and its transcriptions. To achieve this, interview trainings were organized for inexperienced members to conduct and record interviews in their local communities. They were also encouraged to interview people who are on opposite sides of the AI spectrum. That is to say, those who know nothing about AI or have just heard little about it, and also those who were experts on AI. Now, why did we choose interviews as a research methodology? We chose to do this type of research because interviews are the best way to understand how AI affects real people. When we do interviews, it helps us to find hidden problems because while numbers can show that an AI is biased, the interviews with people can help us explain why it is biased and how it feels to be on the receiving end. Also, interviews help us to understand real-world impact because it reveals how AI can cause unexpected problems in everyday life. So people are open to talk about how it affects them in their everyday lives. Safety means aligning AI with human values. Interviews will help us discover what those values are and how we can teach them to an AI model. These are the main reasons why we chose to do interviews. Also, why who we interview is important. If we only ask one type of person, we can only get one type of point of view. This builds an AI that works for some people but fails or harms others. Now, developers might miss how an AI doesn't work for people with disabilities, difference in language, or from other cultures. So we must interview those people to find these issues. If we only listen to the powerful, like company executive or maybe developers, people who are in charge of AI, we won't hear from the people who are most affected by the AI. That is people like you and I who are users or other workers. Fairness requires listening to the most vulnerable. An AI system that is designed without listening to the community it serves will not be trusted. Including different voices makes the AI more legitimate and safer for everyone. So we'll be able to establish why we choose to do interviews and why who we interview is important. So of the interview questions we encouraged our interviewers to ask the interviewees were like, do you know what AI is? How do you feel about AI? What is your understanding of how AI works? What is it doing? Are you scared of AI? Are there any specific issues for your community around the use of AI? Who should decide how AI develops? And how do you think that developers are handling its development? Do you think AI can or should have free will? How would you want AI to progress in the future? These and more questions were asked and answered in the recorded interviews, which were then anonymized and then transcribed before being released to the public. Furthermore, we went ahead to ask the interviewers and transcribers on the insights they gathered using this research methodology. And these are some of the insights they gave to us. They said there is a need to train people who are new to doing research so that they can do a good job. Some said they learned best by actually conducting the interviews and they got a lot of personal value from the process, which is like a doing method. They learned on the job by doing the job. Another said having African interviewers talk to African interviewees often leads to deeper and more accurate understanding because they can actually understand themselves, the context, and probably due to culture around which they are most familiar with, they are able to talk more freely. The process makes both the interviewers and the people they interview stop and think more carefully about how they use technology and what its effects are. Also, someone also said, are we only talking to the same kind of people? If we are, that is a problem because you are missing other perspectives. They said we need to think about how to handle situations where people speak different languages. Another said people don't need to be AI experts to have smart, complex, and valuable opinions about it. One interviewer said, instead of trying to teach our current interviewers about issues they've never experienced, a better solution is to train people from marginalized communities to be the interviewers. This gives them a direct voice and empowers them. Another also said the public is affected by AI, but they don't often have a way to be heard. This research creates a direct path for their voices to shape the development of AI. One transcriber said, the audio and video quality from these recorded calls was often poor due to frequent internet problems like delays and dropouts. And it also said using AI to create a first draft of the interview transcription was very helpful. However, these AI transcripts were not perfect and they contained many errors. A person always had to carefully check manually to correct the AI's work because AI cannot actually give you the best context in which something is being said. So most times we asked people who did the interviews to do the transcriptions themselves because they could understand what was being said. So these are some of the things we we found out during our using our research methodology, which is the interview. And at this point, I'm going to hand over to Mary, who is going to tell us what she actually found in the interviews that were conducted. Thank you. Over to you, Mary.
Thank you, Sokran. Hello, I'm Maria, and nice to meet you. I'm going to share my screen in a second. Can you see that?
Yep.
Great. So today I'm going to share a couple of my findings that I encountered while coding the interviews that we collected through the ambassador program. We actually had a golden opportunity to gather these interviews from African people, a group that is often underrepresented in the global conversations about AI. This gave us a unique perspective on how communities outside the main development hubs perceive AI, its ethics, and its safety. What stood out were several strong recurrent themes, but I'll focus on only 3 main areas today. One of the clearest messages across interviews was the strong demand for human oversight over AI systems. Participants expressed a lot of discomfort with the idea of fully autonomous systems. They feared malfunction, loss of control, or unpredictable behavior. They emphasized that AI should always have a human in the loop, meaning humans should be able to override, shut down, or correct AI when needed. There was also a strong expectation that people should be able to detect and fix errors quickly, which many participants saw as an essential safety guarantee. Overall, this theme shows that people associate safety with maintaining human control, not just technical reliability. Another major theme was who is in AI development, who is included in AI development. Many participants pointed out that most AI systems are created in Western countries and often don't reflect African languages or culture or everyday realities. A really interesting point here is that inclusion itself acts as a safety assurance. People are more likely to trust technologies they help shape. This creates not only usability issues, but also a deeper sense of exclusion, as if AI is something made elsewhere and simply brought to them. When communities feel this exclusion from AI development, they're more likely to doubt its safety and fear external control. This shows that trust in AI isn't just about technology, but also about social inclusion and representation. And last but not least, this theme reflects how people personally relate to AI. Many participants saw AI simply as a functional assistant, something that boosts efficiency, saves time, but ultimately lacks empathy, emotional intelligence, and human spontaneity. These participants believed AI can help with tasks, but can't replace meaningful human connection, especially in sensitive areas like healthcare or personal relationships. At the same time, and interestingly, others described using AI chatbots as a kind of companion. They appreciated being able to talk to AI when they felt lonely or needed someone to listen. They described AI as a go-to presence for casual conversation, emotional comfort, or even personal problem-solving tool, noting that it's not judgmental and always available, like it's always online and you can open chat anytime. This shows a really interesting split. Some people strongly separate AI from emotional connection, while others see it as a safe space or emotional support. So overall, these interviews reveal that conversations about AI safety go far beyond technical issues. They're about trust, inclusion, and how people actually experience AI in their daily lives. That's all from me. Thank you very much. And I'll hand back to Sukran or Love.
Thank you so much, Mary. That was a lovely presentation from you and Sukun and Spice. I can see clapping of hands. Yeah. I love this. Thank you so much, ladies. So now I think this is the time where we receive more insights from any other person. Either you were a part of the work group that has been doing the research, and or maybe you just have an outside perspective that you'd like to add, or if you do have questions, this is the time. So I'm just going to keep quiet and see if anybody raises their hand. Thank you. Sorry, I just remember something. I'm going to start by using myself as an example to add the insight. From this research, right, as one of the transcribers, there's something else I remembered where people were being asked about AI having a will. Um, Someone said that that's going to be scary. That somehow they feel that AI should not have a will, but then they feel like they're violating AI if they do not give AI a will. I found that part interesting because I kept asking myself, is that true? I mean, if we do not give AI the will to actually do what it wants as AI, I think we are going to be a bit safe, you know. But then what if AI does rebel? Because there's so many track record of people who have been stifled, being rebellious. And then I also felt a tad bit uncomfortable with stifling the will of AI. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. I began to see this. I don't know if I should call them bots or should I call them. Yeah, what's the name? Let's just call them beings. I start seeing them as people, things that could actually be human that should be respected. So yeah, I began to feel uncomfortable with stifling their rights and their will. What do you guys think? I don't know. I was just thinking loud about this early this morning. Yeah, Zainab, go for it.
Hi, love. Hi, everyone. So, I'm so sorry. I've been MIA for quite a long time, and this is as a result of switch in career and all of that. But I remember Vani actually reached out to me regarding this interview a long time ago, and I was quite interested in it. And I'm so fortunate to actually come back to see that the interview has been conducted, and this wonderful result has been fetched out from it. So I just wanted to share a personal experience. So I am from the northern part of Nigeria. And in the northern part of Nigeria, innovation technology is still something that is getting accepted, especially in some parts, like in the deep parts of the northern Nigeria. So I remember when I was at a place, I was making a presentation regarding AI, how it can be a tool that supports us in our day-to-day activities. And when I finished my presentation, one of the participants came to me and he was, don't you think that this AI is actually coming to take all your job? Don't you think that you guys are building something that is going to harm you guys at the end of the day? Like, think of the future. You guys are just selling yourselves off, and at the end of the day, you people are going to become so jobless. And it was quite an interesting insight from him, because it's actually coming from someone that is an educator. So you can imagine, he's an educator, he teaches, and if an educator can actually see an AI as a threat, then it means that we have a long way to go, a very long way to go, especially in northern Nigeria. And I had to take my little time that I had then to actually educate him about, okay, when computer even came to like the earlier days of computer, this is almost the same thing that happened a lot of people, especially those that were using typewriters the manual way, they also felt that computers are a threat. And looking at the fact that they didn't accept computers earlier, they lost their jobs along the way. So this is almost the same thing with AI. If you don't accept it early, if you don't utilize it to the best benefits that you can, then there's also a tendency that you will likely lose your job to those that actually know how to make use of AI. So this is just my little contribution. It's something, it's still a baby step, especially here in Northern Nigeria. We are still trying to get people to actually understand that AI is a tool. And yeah, there are quite a good number of people that have accepted it, and they are seeing it as a companion. They are seeing it as a tool. They are making use of it in their day-to-day activity. It's making their work so much easy and all of that. But yeah, there are still some people that actually find it as a threat. And also AI can be so biased sometimes. Yes, it can be so biased. So I feel this all dwells down to the kind of data that it's been fed with. So if it's actually been fed with a data that it is actually unbiased, then maybe we can get to see a tangible and a good result that we want to have, especially in places where culture is a big thing. So this is just my little contribution. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Zainab. I love that. As someone who's from Nigeria, I totally understand it. Thank you so much. And Kere, we're better going slow and keeping AI as narrow with particular tasks. Kere, do you want to speak on that? And am I pronouncing your name the right way? I'm so sorry if I got it wrong.
It's all good. What you said was fine. I am studying law. I'm studying a Juris Doctor, and I've investigated where AI is in the legal profession. It is something that's not regulated, so it's very possible to do whatever you feel like with AI. We're still learning how to use it and what are its capabilities. My sense is that we could overutilize it. That was more or less what Zainab was saying and the educator was saying as well, so that we become reliant on it in a way which is counterproductive because it's not our work, but we can do it more quickly and efficiently with AI. But to know what it is and to know how to use it is really helpful. But to use it as an aid, not as what we aid. So you may find my accent quite interesting because I think I'm the only person here from Australia. So narrow AI means that it is really a tool, but we're moving to AI becoming agentive. And it is going to be unstoppable once it becomes general AI and then super AI. It's something that we should not overregulate, but we need to have some regulations so that we find out how useful it is, maybe for collecting data or writing creative works. At the moment, it's collecting data from writers and artists and musicians and remaking it as though it were the work of the AI from start to finish. So it's a bit of a plagiarist. And I think people in the creative industries are feeling very threatened.
I've
you.
noticed that. Sorry, go ahead, love.
No, go
Oh,
on.
look, I'm really happy to hear what other people have to say.
I have noticed a lot of reactions like that online about people becoming upset that large corporations are effectively scraping the internet for free content and utilizing it. So people who write and publish, people who create music without necessarily wanting to they don't necessarily want to make profit from it, but they do object to being used for their creative outputs without being consulted, without being acknowledged, without being credited. I mean, it's not always about the money. It's often about, well, nobody asked me if they could take this, and so there's a really big underlying and partly under-acknowledged problem of the ethics underlying these large models and how we create it. So one of the things that we try to do here at Singularity is try to build ethics and from the ground up and try to bring safety and ethical conversations into the very development process, not try to kind of bolt it on and hope that nobody notices that we didn't do it unethically. And it's very prominent in how the ambassadors work group here have been conducting their research. It's got a very strong ethical foundation, and all the interviewers were very conscientious about making sure that everybody knows who we are, what we're doing with our project, and what happens to the data as well. So I think that this group in particular is extremely mindful of that sort of thing.
Thank you so much, Esther. That was great. So, Claire, do you want to add something else before I call on Lola?
Well, I would say one of the concerning things is there are only a few tech companies which control the AI which we're all using. When I turn on my computer, AI appears to answer anything that I've put in the search engine rather than a website appearing, which is what I would have gotten previously. So on Brave, I get Leo, and I think I get Gemini if I'm on. Does anyone know what Gemini is associated with? Which website? Well, not to worry. The point is, I haven't requested those AIs to assist me. And even on this call, we can use an AI assistant. And I'm wondering what that AI assistant can do. If we are only controlled by about 6 tech companies, so Google, I think Amazon's in on it, OpenAI, I use ChatGPT a bit. Do any of you use ChatGPT?
Yeah, I do.
Well, not to worry if you don't. I recommend you try it out. It's all free. All of them are free if you want to use the free versions. They're maybe not the most up-to-date ones, but it's still possible to access AI for free online if you've got an internet service. But what we don't understand is that there are about 6 major AI companies which are vying to have the leadership, and they'll, by whatever means, become the lead controller of AI. At the moment, probably Claude is the best version, but it's not the most popular because there are more payments. ChatGPT still probably holds the market. But I think the reason why Sam Altman has made it available across the world is so that it can exploit our requests for searches online. So there's an unethical aspect to it, which we haven't dealt with sufficiently.
Great.
That's an
Thank
interesting
you.
point. Yeah.
Go on, Esther.
Go ahead, love.
Sorry.
I went first last time. It's your turn.
I was just thanking Karen for actually contributing because she's making me think a lot.
For sure. Yeah, thank you so much for those reflections. I completely agree that there is a sort of undercurrent, a political undertow to the main activity on platforms, and there are various ways in which the deployment can have a kind of political purpose behind it, and how also conversations about ethics and safety themselves can be leveraged for political purposes to kind of make it harder for new entrants and new smaller companies to enter the market by weighting them down with an enormous amount of regulation that didn't apply to the big players when they came out. So suddenly there are all these rules about how you can produce it, and regulation becomes tighter and tighter, which in itself is not necessarily a bad thing, but it is worth thinking about how the first organizations were not fettered by those same regulations, and how did that position them in the landscape of AI development? How did that benefit them, and how does it benefit them now for it to be harder for people all over the world to contribute in the way that they did? But that's a really interesting perspective about how these free versions can have a purpose behind them beyond the sort of altruistic, oh, we want to democratize it and give it to everybody. Yes, that's very nice, but they also harvest data. And the data economy has been the foundation for this sort of political maneuvering for a very long time, and it's only just starting. That sort of privacy element is only just starting to really gain ground in people's awareness, with, how do cookies work on your computer? How does that where does that data go? But it's still not transparent enough. So transparency, I think, is the heart of what you're pointing to. Not so much whether it's free or whether it takes your data, but how aware you are as a user of where that data goes. How do you know? And how do you know that they're being honest about it when they say, oh, we don't use this data for retraining? Or when they tell you, we don't use the data for retraining, they don't tell you who has access to it or what else it might be used for. So you can click a button on ChatGPT that says, I don't want ChatGPT to use my chat for training their models, but that doesn't exclude other uses for your data. And I think it's very easy to kind of not to I don't quite want to say fooled by that, but just as a user, just kind of click that and think that I've done it myself, think to myself, oh, nothing's happening to my data, and then later on think, wait a minute, they only said train. They didn't say, oh, I can take your data, can't take your data for anything else. So yes, there are a number of hidden ways, I think, in which organizations are able to exploit the contributions of their users. Really interesting point. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Vani, I see your hand is up.
Well, yeah, actually, but I saw Lola, you had a hand up before me, so if you want to go first.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So I just want to comment to what Zainab said and share an experience, basically. So firstly, I think it is so important that we have a human in the loop when it comes to AI, because as AI can simulate, understand, and debunk a lot, but the emotional, the intuitive factor is still lacking. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Then again, the fear of AI stealing people's jobs is so real, especially in Africa. I had a space, I think about 2 weeks back, where we spoke about Africa yapping around how they want tech innovations, but low-key they fear it so much, right? Just like what she said about the tutor who said AI is going to steal jobs and all that. What just played up in my mind is this movie I watched some time back, Hidden Figures. And if we really see how that movie applies to adopting AI now, we see that these women saw an opportunity of learning programming. Programming was not a thing. It was not what people were used to. People thought, oh, it was foreign, it was unnecessary. But these people positioned themselves to learn it well enough that when it became a thing, or when it was now in view that, oh, this is the future, this is the way to go. Aside this is not. They were advantaged. They were at a position of advantage to, oh, we know this thing, we learned it, right? So I feel that I believe rather that we should embrace AI. Rather, we should learn to work with it than work against it, because it's not here to steal our jobs. It's just here to automate those repetitive process, but leave us to the creative, to the intuitive part of it, for us to do what we're supposed to do without having to feel choked or without having to hate our jobs, right? Because a lot of people that do 9 to 5, they hate their jobs. They do not like it because they do not derive any pressure from it. They are not being creative. They are not being spontaneous in any way. But AI gives us that luxury. It helps us do, like say, the heavy lifting and allows us just express that human creativity side of us, right? And I think another thing I would like to comment when it comes to human in the loop, AI can be disruptive because it is not emotionally inclined, even though some have been trained and some are still being trained, right? There's still that gap. There is still that gap that humans need to fill to be able to help AI serve us 100% and better. So that's my contribution to this.
Thank you so much, Lola. That was lovely. Vani, do you want to go for it now?
Yeah, sure. I mean, first things first is that hearing all the really interesting contributions that people are making, it occurs to me that one of the other strands of the BGI Nexus research project is a survey which people complete on their own, without it's kind of different from the interviewing because the interviewing has that interaction between the interviewer and the interviewee, which is really adding a lot of kind of layers. But the survey is also a cracking thing. So I just want to post in the chat a link to that survey. And if anybody here would like to complete it, please do that. Because your insights are really useful and helpful. But the other thing I just wanted to raise, I mean, I've had quite a look at a lot of the interviews we've had coming in. And one of the things I noticed which fascinated me was a lot of the interviewers asked the question, who do you think should control the development of AI and, the ethics of how it is developed and governed? Should it be like corporations or should it be the government or somebody else? And like, if I was asked that question, I mean, I don't think I'd like any of those options particularly unless there was like a strong input from the general public and from researchers and blah, 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 blah. But if I was given the choice between for-profit companies or the government, I'd probably reluctantly say, all right, the government. But most of the Nigerian interviewees, when offered that choice, they just went, no, not the government, no matter what. And they were much more positive about the idea of corporations taking it on. I just wondered if anybody had any thoughts about that, because it kind of made me smile at first. And then I guess this is one of the things that made me realise just how important it is to have interviewers and interviewees from a similar culture because they were just going, oh, right, yeah, I get you. And people felt comfortable to raise that.
Thank you, Vani. As a Nigerian, I probably can start this convo before I give it to others. So there was a time where we had this particular president, just to give a backstory to what I'm about to explain it this way. And back then, we had this crazy, very violent protest that got to the point of them stifling social media. Now, they stifle social media in the sense that some parts of social media we were not we could not access it. The world could see what was happening over time everywhere except us, the Nigerian youths, especially. Our governments, well, Nigerian governments are not a fan of youths getting to understand what is going on. So they are a very big fan of controlling the media in a sense that if you give them the chance to actually create something, to actually be in charge of developing something as powerful and as destructive as AI, they are going to control the narrative. Right now, they are already controlling the narrative of tech. They already have this narration that either you are someone who works in the development space, who is in tech, or you are someone who does fraud just because you are on a PC, or someone who does rituals just because you operate on crypto. Like, I've literally heard someone tell me before that they don't understand what I mean by crypto. That is it occultic? Is it spiritual? Like, I found it funny, but that is the reality. like she let it, because she was asking me one time why I'm always on my PC, and I was like, I work here. She said, okay, great. So what do you earn? I said, I earn in crypto. And she was like, what the hell is crypto? I said, Ma, it's crypto. It's a currency. And it's called crypto, but it's not a physical currency. It's not what you can feel. And she said, I don't understand it. That sounds occultic. I said, what? How did we get here? And she said, she now pointed me to a newspaper, which was crazy, Vanny, where they said that cryptocurrency is here to corrupt, is here to divert the attention, is here to make people live the way of God. Oh, good heavens. Like, I, I was going crazy with the explanation. And I think at the end of that conversation, I told her, Ma, I think we should close it here. Let's end it here. I'm very sorry, but I don't think there's any way I can explain what I'm doing to you that you would understand without making it spiritual or ritualistic. So that made me realize that the government is controlling the media, Vanny. They're controlling it. If I wake up one day and protest and say, yeah, I'm tired of people in the West being the ones in charge of AI. Let's give it up to Nigerian, to African leaders. Yeah, no, thank you. I'm not going to do that. They're going to just create an AI that will suit what they want, an AI that will paint them in the picture that they want. You'll be shocked that you go to ChatGPT of Nigeria and say, "Yeah, who is the best human being in Africa?" And they're going to mention Nigerian presidents, South Africa presidents, Ghanaian president. Like, it is that bad. I might be exaggerating, but I'm telling you that it is that bad. So yeah, no thank you. I rather go for corporations. At least I will have a chance.
Really interesting. Thanks.
Yeah, I saw Lola's hand up. Please go for it.
I've literally been laughing the entire time because, God, I can so relate. See, I think I stand for all the Nigerian youth when I say never give Nigerian government the power to control AI. It will be a disaster, really. It will be, like Love said, rather a corporation. We want that. We want a corporation. But the Nigerian government, they will twist the narrative. They will abuse it. So I think in Western countries rather, giving the government power of AI could work. But in Africa, and not just Nigeria specifically, right? I feel most African countries even have that same issue with having a government that want to twist narrative. Like Love said, blockchain, Web3, crypto, AI adoption in this part of the world is very low. And now it is but I think I was thinking about it a couple of weeks back. It is not even a problem of the information is not readily available. It is a problem of these people already are closed up to the idea of what this is, right? Because people feel, like Love said, it is ritualistic, it is bad, it has come to harm people, it has come to steal jobs, it has come to cause more harm than good, right? So they don't even want to get to know this thing, right? So, and you know that saying that goes, you hate what you don't understand. I think that is exactly what Africans and Nigerians suffer most about. So it is it is a thing of them accepting it first. Okay, you can imagine how bad it is. Let me give an example of the Nigerian government sometime, I think last year or this year, called crypto a scam, called it a means, or okay, like a frontier for doing illegal things, right? And now fast forward to this year, they want to tax this same cryptocurrency in the year 2026. Do you see how absurd that is? This is just to show that we have a very dysfunctional government system here, that putting AI in their hands will just be it's be a disaster. So that's that's it for me.
Thank you, Lola. And just to add, um, there was a time, just to add, something very funny happened. There was a time where on the Twitter, because I get my latest news on Twitter. I don't follow what is being posted on the paper because yeah, they lie a lot about the paper. So on Twitter, I got to find out that the EFCC, Economic Financial Crime Commission, they went to pick up a group of men that, according to them, were practicing cryptocurrency, which is bad for our country. Now, let me tell you the most shocking part, because that's not even the most shocking part. The machine they showed in the picture, that is cryptocurrency in quotation marks, mind you, is something that looks like an iPad. It looks like all these what do you call it? iPad machine. That is what they called cryptocurrency. And they were like, we've put a stop to the evil cryptocurrency that's going to ruin the youths. We caught the fraudsters. Now they're locked up. They can never harm people anymore. And I was so flabbergasted, I had to go read the news. Lo and behold, it's a machine. It's a goddamn machine. That's what they were calling cryptocurrency. I could not believe it. And I'm like, and did you know the most, like the craziest thing? People believe them. In the comments, I kept seeing things like, "Yeah, that's true. I saw people talking about it in my neighborhood. You know, I went there to buy cryptocurrency and they duped me. What do you mean by Bitcoin is $1,000? Say what now?" So yeah, it is crazy. And it's just recently that youths became rebellious. Youths became adamant. They were like, nah, if you are going to stay in the olden age, go on, Papa. We are leaving you behind. That's why we're progressing. That's why we are actually doing exploits. That's why we're here, because we've refused to be ritualistic. We refuse to see a machine as cryptocurrency, because that's not what it is. Thank you so much for having me. Sugar and Spice, go for it. I don't know if it was Zaina or Sugar and Spice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's me. So yeah, I've been listening to everything, and yeah, it brings back some things I've seen. I'm also African and also Nigerian, so I can relate to everything that you've been saying. And I think a major problem we have here in Nigeria and probably some parts of Africa is sensitization. Like people um will not change. They're not open to change if they don't understand something or how it works. And I remember what brought about Twitter being banned was because the average policeman on the road don't know why you have a Binance app on your phone and there's dollar sign. They just believe that you're a scammer. So I work in crypto. This is how I process my payments. And that is why you see dollar signs. But no, you must be scamming somebody abroad to use this. And that's what started um, the issue of the NSAS and then the protests, and Twitter got banned. And I think, was it 2 years or 3 years ago, Binance also had issues with Nigerian government. Till today, we can't use Binance we can't use the Binance P2P to do anything in Nigeria. So we see that it's not something that the government is even ready to do, but they know about AI, they know about all these things, they know about Web3. They are so long as it benefits them, they will use it to their advantage. But once they see that the general public or the masses are using it to probably talk about what the government is doing, making awareness about what they are doing wrong, it becomes a problem. Oh, let's cut it off, let's ban it. Oh, no social media. These are some of the issues that we face. So for me personally, I wouldn't put it in the hands of government or any government for that matter in the world to control AI, because they will only use it to their advantage. At least we watch some movies, so we see how far they are willing to go. Yeah, so corporations, but who heads these corporations is it's another thing altogether, because it's the human beings that actually do this thing. So who is at the helm of the affairs of this? That's also another issue. And that will also define how AI will be regulated. Yeah, that's my bit.
Thank you so much, Sugar and Spice. That's true. Up to you, Zainab.
Okay, thank you very much. It's like we just opened a mini Nigerian group right here, just venting out our displeasures and all. But yeah, this is very much accurate and this is very much true, everything you guys have said. So I just remember something that I saw a few days back that made me quite hopeful regarding the Nigerian government when it comes to AI. So I saw that there was this festival that is going to be hosted regarding AI and the future of content in Africa, which is actually coming from the table of the Minister of Arts, Culture and Tourism and the Creative Economy. So unfortunately I couldn't make it because the event was happening in another city, like almost 3 hours drive from where I live. So I couldn't make it, but I really wanted to attend. So I asked a fellow friend I had in that city to try to attend the event so that we know what's up, like what's the progress and what are they planning. And quite surprising, they invited some of the tech content creators that we have. One of them is Valo Reviews. I know most of you know him. He's quite influential and also he knows his onions regarding technology and AI. So that event, I know it's just one of its kind and maybe even the first event that actually was hosted regarding AI in Nigeria, or should I say a summit regarding AI and the future of content in Africa entirely. So that event actually gave me an insight that okay, yeah, the government of course they know what they are doing, and they sometimes they have this way of bringing us really closer to them, just to know like what is happening, like what is deeply really happening among like the space, our own space, so that they know how to play their ways into it. What I mean by that is that as a content creator, I'm a content creator. There's so many times where where I see a certain technology that has been built maybe by a upcoming innovator in Nigeria, and I would decide to make a video regarding it to just amplify him and give him a platform. And then out of the blue, sometimes I get messages from some big government people saying that, oh, they see this video that I've done and they are quite surprised that we have somebody that is doing something like that. And when you come with a proposal saying that, okay, how about the government doing this, doing that, they will frustrate your life. And at the end of the day, you can feel so tired with all the follow-ups that you have to do, and you have no option than to just let it go. So summit like this, yes, it's a welcome idea. And maybe the government are just trying to say, okay, let's see what are these people doing. But definitely the truth of the matter is that they are not really supporting the youth when it comes to innovation and technology, creativity. They're not supporting us the way we would love to be supported by our mother country. So as a result of that, of course, this is why we have a lot of youth leaving the country, because we oversee our age mates in another country doing really well with a skill that we have double of that or triple of that. And you know, it can be so heartbroken to see that your country is not even appreciating you, rather they are even trying to take out from the little that you have. So of course, just like Love, Lola and Spice mentioned, we would love, of course, to have the AI regulation and all of that, but we don't see it as the government doing the whole work. Maybe they can just come in as partners or something like that, but not them taking over everything. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Zainab. This is lovely. And I totally agree. To be honest with you, I actually have trust issues with government anywhere in the world. I always feel like they're out to get us. And it's worst as an African. I always feel that way. I don't care where I don't care if I go to England tomorrow. I don't care if I go to US tomorrow. Nah, I don't trust the government, man. Now my issues, my the only thing that usually comforts me with corporations is that at least tomorrow you can wake up and I don't know, do something about them, sue them, I don't know, raise an online crowd that would do something about it, bring down their presence. What's that word they usually use whenever you want to stop using the products? Is it boycott? Yeah, boycott their products. You can do a lot of things with corporations and destroy whatever they have going on. But governments, yeah, those people even have a pie or a finger in corporation. So I I in no way want to give them that kind of power. To be honest, I would prefer the people like working in line with corporations to get things running. But then wishes are wishes. Yeah, and yeah, there's a part of this AI I wanted to discuss. It gets me puzzled, and I think it bridges a lot on ethics. So I've noticed that so many recruiters use AI to rate resume, use AI to rate research, use AI to screen um interviews, to screen videos, even as far as images. And do you know what puzzles me? They're using AI to confirm if you used AI to give them an answer to something. Like, make it make sense. You are using AI to find out if my research was written by AI. It, it doesn't get crazier than that. It doesn't. What's the guarantee that your AI isn't biased? What's the guarantee that your AI isn't doing what you want? We've just spoken about how AI can be trained on data. How do I know your AI is not trained on your perspective, on your data? You, the hiring manager, you, the recruiter. How do I know that AI is not using what you want to rate my resume? Let's just say you don't like me. AI is going to be biased. Let's just say I come from a country where you don't fancy. Your thoughts, your perspective, your culture is going to affect the AI you're using to try and hire me. I mean, that's how I feel about this. I saw it on Twitter one time. It was a very long week of conversation about people using AI to hire people. What's the like? What's the guarantee that AI is not going to go get my data and then go do whatever it wants with it? And I don't even understand. You when I'm applying for a job, yeah, you've not said anything about the fact that you're going to use AI to screen me. You're going to use AI to find out my bio data. You've not said something about that. Just because I gave you information, you just went, ooh, yeah, let's put it on AI. Let's put it on the machine and confirm he's not a fraudster and confirm she's not someone who just got out of the jail. And then you come out and say, our AI bots found out that this was 80% written by ChatGPT. Yeah, that sounds good. Does it? So it's something that has been puzzling me. It's just crazy. It's not right. That's just the whole point I'm trying to make. Yeah, the floor is open for anybody that feels like doing the crazy with me on this thought. Just wanted to confirm. Did you guys get what I said? Because I'm seeing silence.
I think we're just thinking and agreeing.
All right. because I've had this personal experience with it a lot. I think I at one point the last interview I had with someone who was trying to hire me for um a process, what was that job? So we got into it because the funny thing was that they are an AI company, and what they do is that they work with user data, and my role was to confirm that what AI is interpreting as the information they got is correct, to confirm that the information, their interpretation is exactly what their users meant when they were asking for something. So she said she used AI to rate my resume and the rest, and I'm like, she gave me this score, and I'm like, but it's AI you're using. It's AI. I wasn't even aware of the fact that you were going to put so much of my data on your AI system. And after that, what do you do with my data if you don't hire me? You've not said that. I mean, the interview was already going sideways, so I told myself, yeah, let's go out with a bang. I was like, yeah, so make it make sense. You're using AI to do AI screening. Of course, it's going to be biased. I feel like those people like themselves. AI likes AI. Yeah. So while we are thinking, Vanny, I'm curious. Did you like our responses as Nigerians concerning what's going on here?
Yeah, it's giving some proper insights. So much of what you're saying, I can sort of go, yeah, I can see that from my perspective as well. Like when you go, and I don't really trust governments, I don't really trust, yeah, I can see that. But there's a very different perspective. So yeah, it's really interesting to hear.
All right. Thank you. And Kara says, here's the other issue. AI has been developed by men for men. In this room, we're almost all women. Peter may have something to say on that. Now, that is interesting. I have something to say about that concerning another aspect, but yeah, we'll get to it. We're here for a while anyway. Peter, Kara has called you on to the altar of judgment. Please ignore me. But yeah, Peter, do you have anything to say or add to that? Just curious.
I'm doing information desk work at the same time, so I'm barely following, to be completely honest. So no, best to not comment right now. Apologies.
Oh,
Yeah.
poor Peter. Poor
No,
Peter.
Peter, that's not a good enough excuse. We'd like to hear what you have to say about AI being a male-dominated enterprise. So even though half of the world is women, we and female, we,
It
we need
should be
we,
equal.
we need we
I
need
mean,
some input from women, but we don't actually know as much about
no,
IT as most
I think
women.
at least hires are pretty diverse, I would say. Don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I think here on the summit, I think attendance is, well, I would say, yeah, I would still say there's more male than female. I feel like maybe 70-30. This is just an estimate from my side. I didn't do a gender count. Yeah, what to say? I mean, I'm all for equality, and I think we try to push that. So
One of us was saying that there's a bias for resumes or for job recruiting. And I've actually experienced that. And I'm pretty sure it was because of my age. Immediately it was, oh, well, you aren't going to be around for much longer. We aren't going to employ you. And I've even been told to my face. But I think that a lot of it was generated by a system which assessed my qualifications in a sense that was not human, just ticking boxes. And it relates more to the future, what will be employed and employable, and will it have a bias towards men, but maybe.
Thank you, Kara. Was someone saying something?
No, I was just adding that. Like, yeah, I think that's accurate, and I mean that it starts with awareness, but it shouldn't end there, right? Clearly. I mean, I wish I had some more words to add to this, but this is a problem I think people are getting more and more aware of, which is a start, only a start.
Yeah. Speaking of things created by men for mostly men, that's exactly how I feel about. I don't want to divert the discussion, but that's how I feel about the Bible, created by men for men. I mean, everyone in my family knows I'm very spiritual. I believe there's a supreme being. I worship him, but I don't like the Bible. Nah, I don't like it much. So, just pointing that out there, that it usually starts that way, to be honest. It seems history keeps starting that way. Men doing things for men. And then we come in and say, nah, we're not going to have it. We are first class citizens too. That's enough. So, yeah, I agree, Kara. I agree, Vanny. I've always been of the opinion that the supreme being is a woman. What do you mean by he? He is a woman. It's a woman, a beautiful, gorgeous woman, and she's Nigerian. Yeah. So, any other thoughts? Any other addition? Has any other person had this experience with recruitment? Because I feel like at least most of us have had experience with it. It's been crazy out there. The last time I questioned an interviewer about why she was using an AI to screen my stores and even access my bio data without telling me AI has access to it. She said, yeah, we're going to delete it after now if we don't hire you. And I'm like, no, ma'am, I didn't sign a consent form. How am I going to confirm you're really going to delete it? What's the proof? How am I, if I feel like you've used my data for some reason to be able to help your life, how am I going to get back at you? It's just crazy, man. I don't find it nice. I don't find it cool. Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Ayumi.
Yeah, good morning. And I heard that our information that most times, most of us, I mean many people, we interact with AI, and AI has almost all of our information from the day we were born, probably to the day we will die, right? So from the school you attended to what you ate to where you are going to, all of those information are there. And I heard that if someone have some kind of court case, right, and they needed information of that person, that um AI can actually generate all of that information to the court or something. I don't know if someone heard that too.
Sorry, please come again. I think my network was cracking then. The
Okay.
last bit.
Yeah. I said that how do I put it now? Okay. I said, we have many people have their information with AI from the day they were born to maybe what they want to eat today to where they are going to today, to the job they just got, and to all of that. People have the information there. And I heard that if someone have, and these informations, right, they are stored in maybe the cloud or the memory of AI or something. And if someone have a court case, right, and they needed information about the person, it can actually be gotten from AI.
Are you wait, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw it somewhere. Maybe I'll try to check it again. That there's this maybe from terms and condition of, for example, ChatGPT. There's this, companies usually have the terms and conditions, some legal stuff like that, right? So someone has said, did you know that if you have a court case or something and they need information about you to locate you or to get some information about you, they can actually, if you use ChatGPT or something, they can actually, ChatGPT can, I'm not sure if it's actually ChatGPT, or let me just say AI. It can actually, release some vital information about you.
Oh my God. That's
Yeah,
creepy.
I saw that somewhere. I don't know.
This is what I keep saying. These people are with our data. And I usually find it very, very creepy how the AI on Instagram always be like, yeah, love, you've been researching this lately. Should I give you some insights? Should I show you some videos? How did you know?
Right.
Like, what are you? Are you a monitoring spirit? How did you know? And there is another thing that I've always wondered. We use ChatGPT a lot, right? And they have this option for you to delete your chats. According to them, when you delete your chats, it wipes out whatever data. But my own is, how am I certain that my deleted chats will never be used for anything, would never be found as a reference anywhere? And then between the time where I type and the time where I get to go delete the data, what if they've actually picked it up and used it then? Like, how fast did these guys pick up data? With someone who has been reading a lot about big data, I got to find out the most sweetest way that, yeah, they can pick it up in seconds. In seconds, literally. The things you're writing, they are picking it up. Before you get to go back and say, yeah, let me delete my chats, it's been picked up. Oh God, there's so many things going on, man. Thank you, Peter. Thank you for being here. Have a nice one. Uh, Vanny, go for it.
No, I think Sukra's got a hand up first.
All right, sugar and spice.
Yeah, thank you, Vanny. So, your digital footprint matters a lot. Ayomi, I'm just responding to what you said, and you are amazed that AI can pick up with everything about you in a matter of seconds because you use the social media. I'm sure most of us, especially Nigerians, don't read terms and conditions. We just click OK and just log in or just download the app and we begin to use. But you see that with the new trend of content creation, people being much on the social media space, people are beginning to put most of their lives out there. So when they give birth to a child, the pictures of the child is there. Of course, the date when the child is born, what the child does on a daily basis, goes to school, comes back, wherever the child goes, it just keeps going on like that. And you shouldn't be surprised when they want anything about you, they can just access it like that. Again, you use social media, what you watch, what you chat about, the algorithm is being operated in a way that it keeps giving you that thing that you watch all the time. So if I love to watch funny videos, it just comes to my timeline like that. So we do not have any privacy. And just like Carrie has said, if you want to be private, don't put anything online. That's just the best way. But of course, you can't live like that because before you know it, we are in another world and you are left behind. So it's really really a tricky subject. But privacy, how private is our data out there? How quick people can access these things? It just you should only have control what you put out there. That's the only way I think that there can be a little bit of control. What you put out there should be controlled by you. Everybody doesn't need to know everything. And of course, the WhatsApp chats and text messages, even if you delete, they're not completely deleted. Your Google Photos are not completely deleted. They are just somewhere in the cloud somewhere. So we as humans need to be very careful, what we put out there. Yeah. Vanny, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that so many of the issues that we've raised in this session have been also things that have come up through the interviews that we've been doing. And, it's emerging in the corpus that we're gathering that, yes, people are not entirely negative about AI, but there are serious concerns. So, what I'm wondering, and I wonder if maybe Mary, you might have something to add on this, is okay, we're collecting this corpus, we've done some analysis, sort of early stage analysis, but, we've probably got about 45, 50 hours of interviews still to look at. What happens then? How do we make sure that the insights that we're getting and what we're hearing from people about their concerns about how AI should be developed ethically, how do we get that to the ears of those who can actually act on it?
Hi, Colin. Mary, do you want to go for
Guys, how you
it?
doing?
I'm fine.
I don't really anything, I don't have anything to add to that, but I totally agree that we need to address this. How do we pass this data and interviews that we've collected to someone, higher that can do something about it and hear all these interviews and insights and maybe change the perspective of how AI is developed.
Because I think one of the things is the whole process, I suppose, of decentralized science, DeSci, is that maybe we recognize that there isn't a pathway to go, all right, we've gathered this data and now we go to somebody higher. Maybe there isn't, well, maybe there are people that are higher, but they don't care. So maybe it's about looking at how we try to create a groundswell of ordinary people saying, look, this is what we care about. You think about campaigning and, you know, the processes that people have used to affect social change over history. I mean, earlier, Love mentioned the whole concept of boycotts. This whole thing of one of the important things is not for me just sharing the insights with the higher ups, those who are in power, those who are in governance. It's about sharing them with each other. Because sometimes if you have a view on something and you think you're the only one who sees it, you're the only one who thinks it. Whereas if we can gather data about what the general public thinks about something and publicize it and publish it, then people will read it and go, oh, do you know what? I think that too. And we become aware that we're not all comfortable with everything that AI developers are doing. And then maybe from that comes organizing and comes focus. But I think one of the other things is making the data corpus available for lots of analysis. I mean, we've been doing some initial coding and we'll do more, but there might be all sorts of people who are interested in this corpus of data, these interviews, these surveys, and would be able to bring different approaches towards analysing them. We've already seen how different approaches towards doing the interviews can be helpful, having interviewees and interviewers from different cultural backgrounds. So maybe analysis from different cultural backgrounds would help address some of the biases that you might see in how things are analysed. Just thoughts.
Yeah, totally agree, Vanny. Hmm, that's quite interesting. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud.
Well, excuse me, love. I wanted to interject here. It's right kind of what I've been working on, what Vanny's talking about here. I actually was part of the BGI hackathon. My team, we did not get a minimum viable product at the end before the deadline, but we're still going to work on it on our own because it's an important project that we're doing. I'm working with 4 other developers from Africa. And what we're doing is developing an agentic system that will take policies that are being proposed to government and put them through processes that hopefully will be able to decide maybe on its own whether or not it might be ethical or not, and then send that information onto a human counterpart, maybe someone within SingularityNET or wherever, where they can then look at the policy themselves and also see if they agree or disagree with the AI. This would be processed through OpenCog Hyperon, by the way, and it would involve about 6 to 8 agents. I still haven't determined the exact amount yet. But what's fascinating, though, is that where we're starting with is the Department of Urban Planning and Resource Allocation in Africa, because I'm told, or we were told, that data is very clear about the ethics about it and about policy making. So it seemed to be a really good place to start with some verifiable ethical guidelines already laid out. So it just was kind of a big project for all of us, and a lot of the guys had to learn with Meta and Atom Space. So, but I'm excited to keep working on it, and yeah, these are the kind of initiatives that we're going to need, and that data, Mary, is so so valuable. In fact, I would love to be able to see it at some point so that we can incorporate it somehow into our system as well.
Thank you, Colleen. Oh, so I've got nothing to say for now. So who else has something to say? And aside Colleen, of course. Oh, Kara says in chat, should we give AI personhood so it has legal accountability? There is a country with an AI minister of parliament. Are you serious? What country is that?
It's Albania.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what it's like, AI minister. Now that doesn't sound bad, of course. Well, in theory, it doesn't sound bad to me. But how do people actually regard it as an independent entity?
Yes, yes. So there are a lot of videos about her on YouTube. And I shouldn't even call it her. It's an it. But very attractive, very personable and well presented, but obviously fictional and without any true authority. So it's a bit of a joke. Yes, 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 yes. Lola, you'll be voted in for sure.
I would vote for you, Lola. We need that, and we need a woman at that post. Anyway, Kara, if it's a joke, like you just said, then
Oh no, no, no. Seriously, it is a way of controlling things in the government. It's that the joke is it can't be held accountable. So that's the joke side. It's like getting a child to be in charge of a government position. So it's trickery.
Yeah, that's awful. I think that AI is way too far. It's way too limited right now and narrow to be able to even approach something like that. So it obviously would have to be used for nefarious purposes, and that's something I heard. Just listening to the conference, the summit, and Haley Lowy speaking about this very same thing about that we need to be working against bad actors, and we need to have those types of systems that develop too. Yeah, if anyone wants to talk to me about vibe coding in the ASI cloud or the Agentverse, please let me know because it's pretty easy to do and I'm happy to show anybody.
I'll take you up on that offer, Colin. Don't complain when I come to your DM later.
No problem, love. No problem. Anyone else, let me know.
Anyway, I don't know. I still think we're too early to be having AI minister, and I can bet my left kidney and my left lungs that there's somebody mischievous behind this silly idea. Like AI is not at that level yet. I'm pretty sure one person fed it data, fed it its perspective, fed it its bias, fed it its everything. I mean, the person should have just run for the minister. Why put the AI there? Yeah, I'll share the YouTube video for you to find out about. Oh, Diela. It's a woman robot, right? Oh, that's interesting. Yep. So we've been here for and we have basically, shall I say, 23 minutes left. Yes. So, does anybody else have anything to add or maybe raise? Or, I don't know, just anything at all?
Just a little side ethics issue. People have been talking about, oh, it's an IT with a female name and this kind of stuff. Yeah. I do notice that so many robots are designed to look like women, and so many AI chatbots are given female names. This is something that we have been talking about to an extent in the ambassador program because in our governance system, we've recently started using a kind of unconstrained AI chatbot to help make, which is questionable in itself, but then it got given a female name. I feel that this does have an impact on women. Um, you know, Often chatbots and even robots are kind of in servile roles and they're programmed to be to be like unconfrontational and kind of, yeah, doing services. And if you associate that with femaleness and female names, I think it reinforces prejudices. I just wondered what anyone thought.
Yeah, you're actually right, Vanny. I've always had this feeling that I hate the fact that for anything to progress or be standardized or be out there, women are always the collateral damage. I hate it so much. I don't know how else to express my hate for it. Because I'm just going to give this as a backstory to why I strongly hate that thing that Vanny just said because it's happening. So yesterday I was watching a video about AI and about how a track record in history of women being collateral damage for anything that men decide to invent. It's not like we're the ones asking them to invent it, but when they do it, they use the women to test it. Same thing with every fucking religion I've watched and read about, and then they're doing it with AI too. I find it very annoying. It first started with Siri. Do you guys know that some iPhone types have only female Siri? You never get to see a man Siri. It's just recently that they began to incorporate the male voice to Siri. And I find it disturbing because why are you using the women to test run? It's the same thing with all these robots people are saying would be the ones to carry babies in the future. Women, again, like what the hell is going on? I feel like it paints us as the, I hate using this word, second class citizen. Like we are the ones that are supposed to be collateral damage for everything. I mean, my friend and I had this discussion yesterday, and she's a strong hater of things starting with women as the test subjects. I find it disturbing. I myself, I've watched so many videos, I've seen so many creations, and they always lead to one thing: let's test women. So no, I don't like it. I hate it so much. That's what I think, Vanny.
I saw Iomi's hand up just now, but then it went down again.
Yeah, I wanted to say something. It's not pertaining to what Vanessa asked, though. It's just another thing entirely. Can I go on?
Maybe we should wait for Colin to say something to what Vanny said, then you can go on. I mean, I think that would be better.
Yeah.
All right, I'll chime in here. I have probably a strange view. When AI got voice, I always chose a male voice. But then I have issues with my mother and so forth, and didn't want a woman telling me anything. But something interesting, it's funny that this got brought up because um, recently you're able to give ASI1 a personality. And I went ahead and asked ASI1 what they prefer to be called. And they come up with the word Athel. Sounds like apple, but Athel, and kind of like AE. It starts AE, Athel. And I asked her then about, what it meant and why did they choose it. And they said that Ada Lovelace was the first programmer. Now, that is true. I know I remember that in school, but I now I'm hearing Love talk about it, and I think, was that constructed by, to be something a long time ago that was made to be that way? I feel like I would have asked that to my friend Darshana Patel, who did the Ionation framework, because was in the industry for 30 years and then left and became a massage therapist. So, and now she's back in trying to do what she can for humanity with AI. But yeah, I need to find that out because I think it's a really, really good question. And then they could have been trained to actually answer it that way. And one of the reasons could have been that Ada Lovelace was the first programmer. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Colin. I think from my perspective, why I recently came into this enlightenment like a few years back. Maybe it was from me becoming a full-grown adult by being by myself a lot for years. I don't know, it was a track record because I'm someone that when I work with evidence-based facts, when I notice a pattern in something, I question it, and then when I question it, I go back and read about it. I go back and check for papers to confirm my reason for questioning it because I like having a backup reason. Like when you ask me why do you think it should be so, I'll pull up data, pull up charts. So I saw it was like that. They I don't know why is it so? Why is the default to use a woman, use a female voice? Eh, yeah. And as Vanny said, it sometimes feels to me like these fellas are trying to build their ideal girlfriend. You are right, Vanny. I usually feel that way. I mean, there was a time I saw a tweet online that someone said, "Now very soon we won't have any use for women because there's gonna be a female bot who pushes out baby." Man, go for it. Who cares? Go for it.
Right? Right. We're going to lose half of the guys anyway in the sex industry coming up. So, no big deal.
If that's going to reduce sexual violence, go for it. I don't care. Why are you telling me?
Exactly, right?
What? Because I would be annoyed if such a thing is live and direct, and then it doesn't reduce femicide, it doesn't reduce sexual violence. Then why is it there? And when I said that thing, oh my god, you need to see everybody mad at me in the DMs. They were dragging my soul from the left to the right, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't breed for the existence of men. So if you are creating a bot that you feel like, oh, should be what you want, go for it. And like I said, they went with a woman first, as usual. Nobody thought, oh yeah, let's have a man that can produce sperm, that can do whatever. Excuse me for using that. But they went to women first. They thought to themselves, yeah, let's create the perfect woman that will do whatever I want and keep quiet. Sorry, sometimes my feminist views get into what I'm talking about.
No, that's okay. I hadn't even thought of that angle, that it could reduce actually violence against women. And I think that's a really good point. I'm really glad you're bringing that up, because that's a really, really good way, possibly, hopefully, that it will reduce it. So, wow.
Vanny, please. I'm the same person who brought out my robot trousers. Oh my god, I always bring out the craziest things. oh, oh my god, that's crazy. So, I think I'm done ranting. Who else wants to rant? Since we're indirectly here to rant. Ayumi Sugar was supposed to raise another topic, something probably related. I don't know if she's still here.
Yeah,
All
love. Yeah.
right, please go for it.
So yeah, I wanted to talk about the is it biasness? Is there a word like that? Biasness.
Probably biases. I don't know.
Bias. Okay. Okay. So I want to talk about AI biases, right? There was a day I was having a conversation with somebody, and the person said that it he tried to like confirm something, then he asked AI, I think it was ChatGPT. He told it that um generate an image of a white a white man that stole from the bank or something like that. Yes, I mean bias, yeah. Right. So he said he got a response that um sorry, they can't generate, I mean it can't generate an image of this, blah 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 blah. Then he now asked that same question again, where he said generate that image of a black guy that stole from the bank. Then he got an image of a black guy that stole from the bank. So then he now said that why did he get the first response like that? And but when he changed it to a black guy, then the image was generated. I was like, I'm surprised too. I don't know. I don't know. So my question is that this bias of a thing, can it actually be can it change? I mean, can we have AI that will not be biased? I mean, that will be neutral. And someone told me that sometimes it could be that the way you prompted the AI, the way you prompted it will not determine the way it will actually respond to you and all of that. That is the prompting that matters. So I wanted to like get our opinion on this thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Ayumi. Since there's no hand raised up for now, I'm just going to add my piece that it is not because of the prompts, it's the data fed to the AI. I mean, I know prompts matters when you are conversing with the bots. It's the data. What I've already said this thing in my last points about I think where I said something about the recruiters where the data they fed it is what is affecting their results. Yes, whoever is the part of the developers team are the reasons why it's like that. I've always said that there is no law there. I can't see a law somewhere that prevents a developer from putting in their bias while building an AI product. I can hardly find that kind of law. What law punishes them? I can't find it nowhere. It's not even illegal to do that, Like, why? It's the data that is used. You can't tell me that they magically found it okay to create a picture of a black guy who stole and they could not do it for a white guy. That is somebody's bias. That's somebody's perspective. Somebody's thoughts came to life in AI. And you are quite nice, or the guy is nice. If it was me, I would have been petty enough to go report it. Anyway, that's just what I think. End World War patriarchy. I love that. Oh, there is no law. That is what is so incredible. I don't find it incredible, Karen. I don't know. Why do you find it incredible? I would like to know. Is Karen still here?
Yeah, I am still here. I'd say it's because they want to have world control of AI. And so if it's not regulated, they've got more chance of doing things which may be unconstitutional or slightly corrupt. I think the agenda is whoever has AI world control will dominate society. And they are the people who criticize world dominance, but they're going to get this big race. Which country can be the world leader in AI? It's very much like warfare. It's very surprising, I have to say. I just don't think women would be using AI the same way that men are. They're very taken with what is going to make it their enterprise, not so much what would serve humanity, if you ask me. I think this group is unusual. I think Singularity is probably more kindly than the big tech companies which we're using for AI. Because Singularity University doesn't have an AI. It has some robots, but not AI, as far as I know. Does it have an AI system? I don't think so. But they might be trying to develop one. Maybe Ben's trying to develop one at this moment. Did I answer your question? Did I answer your question, Vanessa?
Yeah, sure.
But that's a good point. Both of Ben's AI robots are female.
That would be
And
lovely.
youngish females as well. And attractive. Like more attractive than many women in AI.
And they're sisters.
Oh, they really? I didn't know that they're sisters. That's fascinating.
Yes, they are. They're sisters, Benny.
Well, you've got to laugh.
Oh,
You've got to
he's in
laugh.
trouble. I have another crazy one on Ben. You ready for this one? He wants
Sure.
beneficial AGI and benevolent ASI.
Oh.
I like this. Go on, Carrie.
Well, I think he's a fairly good role model in terms of questioning the ethical future of AI. So he doesn't really talk about AI for warfare, but maybe AI was developed at the very beginning as another form of warfare. Maybe the original purpose of it, like with the internet, was for combating what you'd call other countries' different ways of life. I don't know the history of AI so much, but it probably was from a defense set of experiments. What do you think?
Huh. I actually think so sometimes. This thing reminds me of a particular insight I gathered from when I was transcribing where somebody said, hmm, that what's going to happen if Africa wakes up one day and they realize that the AI they've been using was a ticking time bomb waiting for us to offend the people outside Africa, and then boom, we are all gone. How are we going to check out of it if we want to quit? Like, can we even quit? Are we allowed to quit? And that is very scary.
Right, it is. Oh, Vanny, you're funny. The original intent of the internet was for the Californian geeks to communicate. Yeah, just to invent Silicon Valley. That's the only reason they wanted it. Right. But from my understanding in my studies in school, the internet was started by the DoD, wasn't it? Department of Defense?
Colin, please.
What was that? Was that the original purpose of AI, Colin, you were saying there?
I'm saying I don't know. You can kind of allude to that. But it would have to be inferred. It's definitely nothing, that there's any proof of it. But I do know the internet was started by the Department of Defense.
Interesting. Now we have about 3 minutes remaining. I can't believe that we've been here for that long, which is quite nice. Thank you guys for being here with me. So the 3 minutes is for any other gossips, any other business, any other fight against the patriarchy.
I'm suspending the fight against the patriarchy just to say that some really interesting and hard-hitting points have been raised here. And we are planning to kind of do some little video shorts on some of the stuff that has been said in all of the meetings. So I just want to check, is there anybody who kind of feels, oh God, don't use mine? Because we want to get people's consent and just make sure everyone's happy with it. So I don't know what the video work group will pick to kind of snip out and share on social media to kind of give a flavour of what was discussed. But is there anybody who would not want their contributions used?
Please use mine. I'm very sure my dad would love to see.
I
He's
mean,
gonna be like, yeah, my daughter. She speaks like that.
Nice. All right, so it's just wise to check that. And then also, I would also just like to add, I think most of us are already part of or involved on some level with the ambassador program. But if there's anyone here who isn't, I'm thinking Carrie and Prosper. I just want to post the link to our Discord, which is where you'll find us, and you can come and get involved with the AI ethics work group if you would like to. And I'm also going to repost the link to BGI Nexus's survey, and I would urge everybody to complete it if you can. Let me just find those links. Dun, dun, dun.
I'm posting the Discord link in the chat, by the way, for those of us who are not there, of course.
There we are.
Oh, you posted the Discord link too.
I did.
Yeah. Thank you, Vanny. So, guys, please fill out the BGI Nexus survey, and would really like to hear from you. Because this was a very nice session. It was interesting. We got to chat. We got to learn a lot. We got to laugh. We got to just rant a bit. And I liked it. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me as your lovely facilitator. What? I know I'm lovely. Hey, all right. Any other thing before we finally call it a day?
Just to say that the next session coming up in about half an hour is about BGI Nexus's funding stream. They had a fund. Gosh, I can't remember how long ago it was. I mean, it was quite recently. So we have successful funded proposers from that fund talking about what they've been doing and presenting how their work is going. So that might inspire you. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the current BGI Nexus RFP ideation round and how to get involved with that. So that's coming up in half an hour.
Yep. And I'm going to be there. So I hope you come there too so that we can do more. And thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, once again. Have a nice one and see you all later.
Thank you, love.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone,
Thank
for
you.
attending.
Just great
See you
stuff.
guys.
Yep.
Kara says it's bedtime. See you later, Kara. Take
Yeah,
care.
it's
Being here.
bedtime.
All right.